Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. Today we're going to mix things up a little bit because I've gotten a higher number than usual of emails, people sending in asking for help. They're feeling hopeless. They're feeling overwhelmed in that hopelessness, and they don't feel like they can get out of it. And, I've been answering, but here's the thing. I'm seeing this pattern, and I really wanted to feel into the depth of what's really going on behind this hopelessness feeling. I've been there. I've been there to the depths of, why am I here? Why am I living? What's the point of my life, right? What's the point of me even being here in this world? And it's a pretty crappy place to be. And I wanted to understand the dynamics of why we get there in the first place. And so I was earlier today, I was feeling into the energy, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to share this as one of the podcast episodes. So we're not having a guest today. Well, we are. They're just universal beings, so you can't actually see them. So what we're going to do is I want to break down the process of what happens for a human to get to hopelessness, okay? Because hopelessness starts with the foundation of hope. And we've been taught that hope is a really good approach to life. That if we hope, we're being positive, right? And, we're working towards a goal. But when you feel into the universal energy, hope isn't a universal energy. It's a fabrication. It's an approach to life that really, and I'm going to say things here that you may be really uncomfortable hearing. And I want you to know that when it's the most uncomfortable is when the information is meant for you the most. And, notice if you have a strong emotional reaction to what I'm saying, that's when you need to listen the most. That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned along my journey is when I'm set off emotionally really strongly, it's because I've gotten to the root of the issue, and it's time for me to look at what that issue is. So today, I want you to feel into this truth, okay? Hope is the intention that it's going to get better without you needing to take any action. You need to hear that, because success will never, ever, ever occur as the result of hope. And what happens is the more we hope, the less change occurs because the less action we take. The more we go into hope, we're actually vibrating in fear. We're working on, thinking about, and focusing on all of the things that we want to happen or that we're scared will happen, but we're not actually taking action. And universally, this is what sets people off, okay? This is how we get into that place where we're not just in a funk, we're in an overwhelming state of depression, anxiety, and we can't get out of it, And what the first step, they want you to know, like the first thing to do when you get to that place where you realize and you recognize that you're in that funk, you're in that place of hopelessness, and you feel stuck, like really stuck. They want you to get outside. I don't care what the weather's like. Put a sweater on, put a winter coat on. It's okay to get wet. It's okay to get snow on you. obviously you're not going to go out and run if we're in the middle of a heat wave, right? But it's being able to dress appropriately and act appropriately, you know? But the number one thing that your body is craving first and foremost is nature. Why? Because connection is natural for all humans, okay? It's the most natural thing in the world for us to do. And the more pressure we put on ourselves through the intention of hope, okay, the less we trust, really. And what happens is we start to shut down our intention to want to connect with anyone or anything, because we go into this space where our energy is spinning. It's like it's not even frenetic. It's actually spinning because you're on a course. You have an intention. So it's not like you don't have an intention. Your intention is hope. Your intention is and hope is based on fear. So your intention is 100% based on fear. So it's got a focus, but it's spinning, and it's spinning backwards. And so what happens is your space, your energy, your experiences become overwhelming, and you start to shut down. You don't want to connect with people. The last thing you want to do is have a conversation with strangers or with people you love and know, because it doesn't feel good anymore. You know, it doesn't feel good. And sometimes it's because you don't feel like you have anything to say, and you don't, you know, maybe you're feeling negative and you don't want to bring the other person down. But at the same time, there's a lot of that part where you don't want that other person to be like, oh, just do this, or oh, just do that. You don't want, it's like, I don't want anything coming at me right now. And that is, it's protection mode, right? You're naturally built in protection mode that, you know, we've built up for years and years, like decades, right? Your whole life, you've built up this protection mode for whenever this hopelessness feeling comes in, because it's a pattern. It continues to happen, okay? So the number one thing you can do for yourself is get outside. Get outside in nature. If you're able to get in water, even better if it's outside in nature. If you can't do it outside in nature because it's in the middle of the winter, you can actually, even in the middle of the winter, if you can stand it and it's not too cold, I encourage bare feet in snow, which is amazing, or even socks. You know, a lot of the time we'll do wool socks in snow, just to feel grounded, feel connected with nature. So, you know, it's being creative and thinking about what you can do. I mean, you're not going to go out and hang out in wool socks for hours and hours, but, you know, for 5 or 10 minutes, go run around, you know, whatever piece of land you can have your body connected to. Swimming is great. Showers are great. Baths are great. Anywhere that you can get in water, you know, clean water. And that's where you want to start. And that intention between the water and nature, you're cooling your emotional system, okay? So your emotional system is the way your mind reacts to the experiences you're having. Okay, that's what emotions are. They're not feelings, they're reactions to what life is bringing to you, okay? And so the whole intention behind nature and water is to cool the emotions, and you want to set them on, it's like you're, what's the word? You're decompressing your emotional reactions. So they're no longer driving how you see everything. Because until you stop your emotions, okay, and you can't do it with your mind, just so we're really clear here, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I don't want to think that way anymore. When you're in this level and this depth of hopelessness, it isn't just going to turn off by itself. You actually have to take action, but the action doesn't have to be massive, but it has to have an intention, a clear intention that says, I need to get out of this spin cycle of being in my emotions. Okay. And so what you want to do that's why you're going to get outside. You're going to get in water. It's like a cleansing of the emotional reactions, right? Okay. Because you're going to find the emotional reactions as a result of this hopelessness. There's going to be a lot of anger. There's going to be judgment towards yourself, judgment it could be even the creator in the universe. And why are you here? Why would you do this? Right? Could be towards someone you love, right? And you're like, why am I so frustrated with this person? But it's understanding that it actually isn't those things that you're frustrated with. There's a bigger reason, but you can't see it because you're in that spin cycle. So you've got to decompress it first, okay? And then you want to start to pay attention to what is it that's feeling so hopeless, okay? There's going to be one thing that's driving you to look at it like everything in my life sucks. But there's going to be one thing that you were hoping for the most, and it's not happening. And that's what you need to start looking at. Okay. And that's where you need to start going, okay, so what is that one thing? What is the one thing right now? I'm not talking about the one thing in your life. I'm talking about the one thing right now that you want and need the most for you to feel hopeful. Because we're not going for hope, but I want you to see it from there. Because then what you're going to start to do is ask yourself, what action can I take right now in this moment to bring that reality closer? Because hope doesn't do that. Hope wishes and sits and waits for things to come to you without taking action. Action, okay, is the universal approach to success, to abundance, to everything you're meant to experience, okay? Because when you take action, it's your energy moving towards what you want, right? So if we're hoping, our energy is moving towards doing nothing and wanting returns. And the universe says, well, I don't have anything to work with because you're not giving me anything. Your brain thinking about it, dreaming about it, and coming up with designs and ideas isn't enough. It's the action piece that you need to take in whatever way it is, okay? And this is where a lot of people get stuck. Because what you end up doing is you come up with all of the excuses that you possibly can for why you can't take action. And this is how you get into this state of hopelessness in the first place. Okay, this is how. Because you've decided there's nothing you can do, but really there's nothing you want to do. You know, if you're saying, I really want to start a business, but there's nothing I can do because I don't have money. There's always something you can do, but you have to be resourceful, right? You have to be the person that says, okay, where can I learn and what can I learn for free? Because I tell you right now, the internet is a tool where there's so much information if you're using it in the right way. Okay. If you're sitting there on the internet looking at how everybody else is succeeding, but you're not, then that's not using it as a tool. But if you go, okay, so if I want to start a business, then you're going to have to figure out what your business is about. And then you're going to have to figure out, okay, what's the most important thing? So then you go research that, right? How do I do that? How can I do that with no money? Because I tell you right now, there is a ton of places that offer things for free from every aspect of business development, but you have to participate and you have to take action. Participation is action towards a goal. You have to have a plan. And what I mean by a plan is, what's the thing you want the most, right? So what's making you feel the most hopeless? That's the thing you're going for. And every single day, you're going to take action to bring you closer to that goal. If you want to make more money, then your goal needs to be make more money. Don't sit and hope money's just going to come to you. Okay, that's not how it works. universal abundance is available to everyone for everything you're doing. That is why you're feeling hopeless, because you've put hopeless out there and the universe is like, oh, that's what they want. We're going to give you a ton of that. It's what you're getting back. Your experience is a reflection of who you're being. And I know that's hard to hear. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it makes you want to punch the screen if you're watching. I get it. I've been there. But the thing is, either you're going to be willing to hear it or you're going to turn this off and you're going to stay in the same dynamic. But if you're here and you're listening and this is super uncomfortable and you choose to stay, it's because you're ready to hear more. You're ready to understand more about the person you're being and the life that you actually want. You know, complaining about life gets you a whole bunch of people that complain. It gets you a whole bunch of experiences where your life is a reflection of your complaining, the things you don't love, the things you don't want. That's why action is so important, right? Because if you take one action every day, gosh, you know, if they're small ones, you could do it every hour of your day. You know, maybe you don't drink enough water, you know, and your body is in need of health and balance. And if your goal is just to drink 1 glass of water every hour, that's massive. That's massive. It's you taking action. And you know what happens? Your body starts to shift. Your cells start to shift because you're participating in what you actually want to create. But you got to show up. You got to show up even when you don't want to, even when it's hard, even when you're tired and you're whiny. You know, this morning, did I want to work out today? No, I didn't. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to be all sweaty and gross. And I was tired. I was cranky. But the reality is, I want to be strong. I want as much oxygen to flow through my body as possible because I want to feel vital and I want to have energy every single day. So I worked out. My 40-minute workout took me about 55 minutes today because I lingered in between sets a little bit longer than usual. And that's okay. The reality is I got it done. And when I was doing it, I worked my butt off. I worked hard. And that's the point, you know? You know how many people say to me, I don't like the taste of water. Well, you know, if that's your excuse for not drinking water, it's, to be honest, it's a lame excuse. And you need to learn. You need to learn how to like the taste of water, how to love the taste of water, because your body needs it. It thrives on water. You know, it's understanding that your beliefs are creating your life. So if your health isn't where you want it, your relationships, your career, your financial situation, you know, if they're not where you want them to be, and all you're doing is complaining or justifying why you can't do something while hoping it gets better, I can tell you right now, all you're doing for future you is creating hopelessness and creating a spiral of dread, sadness, and ugh. Or you could take action today. You know, you could do something for you today that gets you closer. Just deciding, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to be a better human for my future self. I'm going to gift myself every single day with something that matters to me, something that means something. You know, they're little things. For me, I do them all the time. You know, first thing in the morning, as soon as I wake up, within 15, 20 minutes, I'm dressed and I'm out the door. My whole family, our dogs, and my whole family. You know, I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. And when my son was born, he would be in the carrier until he was about 2, and then he was on a balance bike. Why do I do this? Yeah. Do I want to get up at 5:30 in the morning every day? Nope. Sometimes we sleep in a little bit longer, and this morning it was hot. It was really hot and I didn't want to get up, but I also didn't want it to get hotter for my dogs. Because here's the deal. When I walk first thing in the morning, we go for at least 45 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half. It depends on the day. But we all are getting fresh air to start our day. Every single one of us. We're all getting exercise. We're all getting out in our community, free of tech, zero tech. We are listening to nature. We're interacting with nature. And how many rabbits right now and birds? A couple days ago, it was really cool. We saw a hawk and a bunch of crows shooing the hawk away from their tree and their nest. So these are things we see every morning, but it's also my insurance policy, because if that day goes off the rails, that means that we've already had our outside. We've had our outdoor, we've had our fresh air, we've gotten our exercise. So if the rest of the day we can't do any more exercise because something happens, I have zero guilt. I have zero feeling like, oh my gosh, we didn't get to that today. We didn't get to that. The most important things I do first thing every day, because I don't ever want to get to the end of my day and feel like, wow, I let myself down. I do them first, and I incorporate our whole family because everyone feels better, right? It's the same thing, I reverse park. It is my jam. It is my thing. Why? Because when I'm ready to leave, I just want to go. So I reverse park so that future me, whether it's an hour or 3 days later, can just go when she's ready. That's why I do these things. Okay. I make my bed in the morning so that when I go to bed in the evening, I love that feeling of turning down the bed and getting in, and it feels good, right? These are things that I do for me. I don't get frustrated if someone else doesn't do it. I go do it. I do it because it's important to me. And all of these things feed my action and where I'm going. They don't feed hopelessness. They feed thriving, they feed abundance, and they feed balance. Balance is one of those universal energies, and it's such a huge part of who you be in the world. So the next time you are feeling hopeless, there's a lot of things that go on in this world. There's a lot of death, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of disease, there's a lot of circumstances that we can't change, but there's more circumstances that we can change. And your goal, your whole reason for existing here is for you to create change in as many places as you can, right? Change is evolution. And evolution only occurs when you participate. So you want to get out of that hopeless feeling, take action. What's important to you? Start to look at it. Hope is a great idea, right? But underneath, it's not universal, and it's laid with fear. And, it's interesting actually, because as I'm feeling into it and I'm sharing it with you, there's a huge essence of abandonment and hope, right? It's this feeling of somebody else let me down. The universe let me down, right? And that's really when you focus on hope and you focus on using it to create your future and your foundation, right? For what you're creating in your future, you're setting yourself up to feel let down and to be let down. You're going to attract people, you're going to partner with people who are also hopers. And I can tell you, I've used hope at many times in my life for all different things, in my career, in my relationships, in my finances. Never, ever, ever does it work. It's never worked once. The only thing that has ever worked is action. Taking action towards the things that I want. But you can't expect to go from the foothills, like not even being on the foothills, right? From the valley to the top of the mountain overnight. The mountain is the goal. And every day you get closer. And sometimes you're going to go down a little bit to come back up. But the fact is, you're moving towards what you want. And you're learning every single step of the way. And this is what we do. We make choices and we make decisions. So we have experiences and we create these experiences. And as you're having them, you're learning. You're learning, wow, that was a great decision. It got me so much closer to my goal. That one took me further away. Okay, so we don't want to do that one again. But what if we shift it? Sometimes you're going to shift it. Sometimes it's going to be awesome. And sometimes it's not. It's not going to be awesome. But as long as you learn from it and don't get lost in the hopelessness that nobody's supporting me, I can't do anything right. They're cop-outs, and I've used them. I've used them many times when I'm feeling sorry for myself. And I don't want to take action. I don't want to take responsibility that I need to be the one that's going to get me to my goals. Right? It's a huge dynamic, actually. It's really interesting because religion itself has created this dynamic. And it's funny, I was reading this book this morning, and it talks so much about how it was talking about the person in the book and how much he praised God, and how much he's spreading the word of God, and how he loves that, God is in everyone and God is great. And, I'm a huge proponent of the Creator. I have such an incredible relationship with him. And I understand that his intention is not for everyone to go around thinking he's great, because the moment you do that, you're holding him accountable for your own life. And what he wants you to understand is your life is a reflection of who you choose to be every day. He wants you to recognize your greatness, not his greatness, because it's not about him. Your life is about you. Because when we carry this dynamic that it's a reflection of someone else's greatness, then we have someone to blame. We have someone to be angry at. And the reality is your soul, the universe, the Creator, God, Jesus, everyone. They're all there. They're all waiting for you. It's not their job to do it for you. It's your job. They'll help you. They'll help you see the right path. They'll help you. And if things don't go well, it's not because they said you had to go in that direction. It's because they knew you needed that experience in order for you to change your belief system. And that's what this is all about. Right? If your belief system is based on hope, your life will never change. But if your belief system becomes based on who you are and what you're capable of, anything becomes possible. And that's the point. That's who you're meant to be in this world. And that's what the entire universe is working together to help you see, to help you feel, to help you understand, and to help you participate in. So let me know what's causing your hopelessness and what step you're taking today to help you move towards your vision, to move towards abundance, and to experience your own greatness. Because it's right there, it's waiting. But you can't hope it's going to be revealed to you. You have to take action and let it be revealed to you. Thank you so much. I look forward to our next connection. Bye now.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox, or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.